Okay. Hello.
Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe It's Not the Mouse, the podcast all about animated movies not made by Disney. I'm your host, Octaviano Macias, and today I'm joined by a guest host. I fucked that up.
Joan. I am joning. I am jonesing for something because apparently we're gonna start going to the click clack nickety knack onto the brick of the Lego Movie. Yes,
Yes.
the original one. Woohoo!
So that was Arnold Regis who joined me, not Joan. Uh, God damn it. Anyways, so yes, we're talking about the Lego Movie, the animated movie that surprisingly didn't even get a Best Animated Picture nomination, even though
Yeah.
everyone said that was the best animated film of that year.
Exactly. It had so much heart put into it. I can't even describe the amount of work and technological, like so much, like along the way. It was all right. I'm glad that we're getting to delve into this one hell of a story regarding the Lego Movie and its franchise.
Yeah, so for those of you who have never seen the Lego Movie, it's honestly a pretty basic story. It's pretty much any revolution, secret world kind of movie that you've ever seen. Uh, they literally make references to the Matrix in this because that's what it pretty much is. It's
Yeah.
pretty much here's a society. It's your plain old boring society. Here's this main character named Emmett who's like a loser, but he's like a normal guy. And it turns out that he's something much more important because there's a prophecy, and later on we'll get into spoilers. It turns out that there's a reason why it's playing it all so generic. Of course, most people probably already know it because of the sequels that and spin-offs that they made, but for the most part, that's their general idea. It's imagine every single secret society chosen one story ever made, but with Legos.
Not only that, it's like there's a lot of thing about that story. It's just like say like in general, like Lego should be played by everyone, and it was just
Yeah.
like at the top at the start of it, yes, it was definitely like the Matrix. Just making that connection right now, it's like, oh yeah, you're definitely right. It's definitely like the Matrix. Holy crap! They just put it in Lego format, and then when like later on, it becomes more of a like beyond like into the real world kind of thing, and you can see how like the Lego Movie was not just like to me, that's like a love letter to anyone who has created brick films, including myself. I have been making brick films since 2009, since my 10th grade year.
So
So
even
in
before
high
this movie,
school. Yeah, so even before this movie, I was creating like Lego animations on a consistent basis up to a point that I actually had like a good amount of people following me and they understood the content I was doing and so on and so forth. And then that movie came out and then that just really brought out our environment and our like and the amount of work that we put on our films. Heck, even in the movie itself, they even like featured some brick films from actual animators from like YouTube or whatnot. It's just like a small short snippet of it, but it was just the way they executed animations. They understood the amount of love and care that we do for our Lego animations, especially when we first started out. So
yeah,
kudos to
because
them on that.
I remember like one of the things that shocked me and a lot of people when this came out was that it was not actually um, a stop motion feature because they really put the time and effort to make the CG in it to look like actual Lego animations that you would see on YouTube or wherever. And I remember looking at it, even like watching it again recently, just seeing trying to find where they might have slipped up, and it's very hard to find any moment in this movie where they slip up because they put in like the right amount of detail in terms of like the lighting, just having the toys look very scratched. Some of them look newer, so you get a mixture of stuff that's clearly been used and stuff that hasn't been used.
Yeah.
It's so perfect, and you could even see like dust in some of the molds. It's crazy because even granted, I haven't really seen the sequels and spin-offs that they did um as recent as the first one, but I think those kind of missed the mark in a few places because it was a little bit more noticeable in some areas in those that it was a CG recreation of this stuff versus this one.
Yeah. I could definitely say that for sure regarding the Lego Movie too, but um in regards to that, definitely when it comes down to the Lego movie is yeah, oh my gosh. So much. There's so much we can talk about that, especially.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd argue that it was probably the best animated movie of the last decade. I mean,
Yeah.
granted,
Oh, like come
granted,
on, like just like we don't even need to like discuss that, but I'm surprised that it didn't get that much of an like that nominated recognition regarding like the awards.
yeah, like I mostly was just nominated for best song, which you can tell they were kind of giving a little fuck you to the Oscars because they created like these little Lego Oscar statuettes that they were handing out to people. So it was kind of like, yeah, we're doing this song, but we're also giving it to a bunch of people just because fuck you. And
Yeah.
it is something that to this day kind of surprises me because it's like, okay, and not winning it is one thing because I mean I've seen a lot of movies that deserve their wins that don't win it, but that it
Yeah.
wasn't even nominated because I remember like the year it was that it came out, the winner ended up being Big Hero 6, which some people were like, oh, it should have gone to How to Train Your Dragon or whatever, and I'm like, realistically, the one who should have won it wasn't even nominated to begin with, so it doesn't even matter to me.
Yeah, yeah, I have to be honest with that too. As much as I enjoyed Big Hero 6, Lego Movie was like, come on, man, it had so much. Had
Yeah,
so much. Sure, like from the very part like beginning of it, the plot line may be somewhat basic, but then it opened up to something much more true to life and real. Then I was just like, you kidding me? You're gonna just leave this one and let not even give it like an honorable mention at least? But kind of killed my heart a bit with those award shows. Killed my heart, but it's still, you know what? It's this is just a win for us. We had a really good Lego movie show up on theaters for the first time ever.
yeah.
So I don't know who else can top it off. I mean, hell, it built the franchise along the way, but oh well,
Yeah,
that was
'cause,
kind of mixed.
I mean, granted, I'd rather save it until, because I do want to talk about each of those movies individually at some point. I will say that I actually do like all of them, some more than others, but for the most part, I think the sequels and the spinoffs were fine. It was really just I don't know. I think it was a matter of bad timing, honestly, because that it lost a lot of the momentum that it had with that original movie. To this day,
Mhm.
still surprises me, considering that you see a lot of other animated features, ones that didn't even have that many good sequels to begin with, whether it be like the Ice Age or Despicable Me movies, where like the first one is like, oh, it's okay, but then you get the sequels and it's shit. Those stayed pretty consistent in terms of how much they raked in. So I'm like, what exactly happened with this movie, especially considering that a lot of people did really like it, even if they weren't big on Legos or not. Because I'm like me personally, I'm not the biggest Lego fan. I think they're cool. Arnell's clearly showing off here, but
I'm like, you see this guy is right here. I'm like trying to promote my Lego content. I'm a Lego animator, so it's obvious that Lego has affected me at like an early age. So I can't deny.
yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like I mean, I don't have a like a hatred of it or anything. I do
Yeah,
enjoy
no
the
worries.
stuff. It's just it's never been like the strongest interest for me. I mean, it's neat. It's fun.
Mhm.
Of
Yeah.
course, I enjoy voicing the little uh Lego guy in your show,
Yes. Yes.
Daniel.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's not like I can't say I have no connection to this stuff. I just
Yeah.
don't have
Of
the
course.
strongest connection. Like when they announced that they were making this movie, I was not really hyped for it until it was announced like, okay, we're gonna have Phil Lord and Chris Miller directing it, because I'm like, okay, well, I really liked Cloudy with Chance Meatballs and 21 Jump Street, both movies that at first sound like really stupid and bad ideas, but then turn out to
But
be
then they
great
ended up.
ideas. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so this Lego movie's got to be a great one, and it truly is, because pretty much going off of what you were saying, um, it's really a Lego movie. It's not just a movie where they decided, okay, let's have it be done with Legos. Like every single detail from like the story to the message all goes back to what playing with Legos is like whether it's like the little references to like, okay, here's the evil organization being Octan, which is an actual thing in those
Yeah.
in the Lego products, from what I'm told. And then of course the movie's main theme by the end being like, okay, a father and son reconnecting. This is spoilers, but whatever. At this point, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Pretty much because the father is like, okay, we got to build Legos this way, but the son just wants to have fun and just be imaginative. So I'm like, that's really neat how they tied just the idea and concept of Lego as a movie.
Yeah. It literally captured the whole essence of the Lego company as a whole. It really brought in the entire amount of creativity and imagination of what this toy is ever since it had it begun. So, or it began ever since it began a long time ago. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Jesus Christ, that drive is too much for me. but anyway, regarding the Lego movie, regarding that, it is just something that's just near and dear to any brick filmers or brick animators, whatever you may call yourself in regards to this kind of animation form. Because as you could see, the amount of detail they put in there, they even put in the understanding of the limitations. As in I've seen other Lego animators who actually like going above and beyond to make them look more fluid in their animations. Like, how like a Lego guy is like just doing this, like as if he's doing the robot or something like that. They kept that in that style because they understood the limitations of what a brick film does, and you have to be very creative with that. So thumbs up to them, because like they stuck true to the roots regarding brick films in general, especially like you said earlier with details regarding the dust and whatnot. Just those minute details made that movie just like pop out even more.
Yeah, because one of the things that I was kind of worried about going into this back when it first came out, before any footage had been released, is like, okay, and it's still true with a lot of Lego products, like Lego specials that they do, is that when it comes to a lot of the animation, it's like, okay, Lego is the style that they're going with these CG creations, but then they have the characters just bending and moving in ways that a normal cartoon character would move, and it's like, but that's not a Lego. That's just a guy, and now you're just making him move the way a cartoon character would look, and it's never really sat well with me. I mean, that's definitely the one thing that I enjoyed in all the Lego movies, is that they, even as they got a little too carried away with it with the sequels. I mean, they at least kept it to the characters moving the way a Lego character would move.
Yeah. They kept it in its real world, in its world's limitations, in its world's physicality. So like, they understood the physics of its own world.
Yeah, because I've seen like, for example, they did like a Lego Star Wars Christmas special that was supposed to be like a continuation of like the recent movies. I mean, it was fine. It was cute. The only reason why I saw it last year was because literally nothing was being released last year because of COVID. So I was like, okay, I got something here. But I'm like, okay, the jokes are fine, and it's, the typical thing you get with these, which is poking fun at the franchise. But then you get characters just moving the way they normally would, and it's like, then at that point, why did you just make a regular Star Wars a cartoon to do this? Like, why did you make it Lego? Honestly, like we've seen it with other toys. Like, I know they years later they did a ripoff of this with Playmobil. Yeah, I believe it was Playmobil.
Yeah, my gosh.
I haven't seen the movie. I'm not planning to, but I just from the trailers and everything, I'm like, okay, well, what is this? What's Playmobil about this? Like, I get that the designs are Playmobil, but nothing I'm seeing says that this had to be Playmobil.
Yeah. Man, Jesus Christ, that Playmobil movie. It's so weird to look at. It's like watching a Veggie Fables cartoon at times.
Honestly, to me, the weirdest thing about it is every time someone reminds me that, oh yeah, you know that actress, who's like the new thing, Anya Taylor-Joy, she was in it, and I'm like, the fuck?
I was like, what? That's weird.
Princess Peach?
What the hell? That makes no sense. What the hell? She was actually in that movie?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the common thing that happens. Like, people are doing a bunch of jobs before they, make it big.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, realistically, think about the whole Princess Peach thing. you got Chris Pratt here, who at the time was not a very well known guy. Like he was just in Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
was barely about to appear in a Marvel movie with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mhm.
So like no one really knew this guy, and then his performance here and Guardians of the Galaxy really blew the guy's fame up. I mean, just going by his performance in this movie, Chris Pratt is really great as Ahmed. It's much more different than a lot of his other roles where he's just like the slacker, kind of cocky guy, and here he's more of like the naive, innocent, childlike man.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. So whenever people mention about that whole Super Mario thing that's coming out, is like, I mean, he has experience doing voice work. I don't know if he can do Mario, but he did
Yeah, and
Ant-Man really well.
I just have a little gripe with that actually. Why is the guy that is voicing Wario? I mean, he's the guy that originally voiced him too. He voiced Mario. Why is he going to just voice Wario? I'm like, come on, dude,
Well, we
he's
don't even know if
there.
he's actually going to be doing
He's
Wario.
he's right there, but still, like I've been hearing news regarding that. It's just mostly going to be him playing as like Wario or something. Which okay, I don't mind it. Wario's my favorite character in like Mario Party or even the WarioWare games. But if there's anything that's a bit of a gripe with that, it's like that's the guy who voiced Mario. The guy who voiced Mario. He should have that role when he's the main person responsible for voicing him. It's like it's. I mean, I don't know how Chris Pratt's gonna do it. Honestly, I'm
I
kind of
mean,
surprised that Charlie Day, right? He's
Charlie Day is
Luigi.
Luigi.
Yeah, Charlie Day is Luigi. I could honestly hear the high tones. So it's like, I think I've seen like too much of It's Always Sunny to understand how he acts. So
I mean,
probably.
there's actually been people animating some of the characters with like the voices of who they announce. Like, so you get that whole conspiracy scene from It's Always Sunny with Luigi doing it, and it actually looks really well. And I'm like, okay, see,
Okay.
I could actually see Charlie Day as Luigi. Chris Pratt's the only one that I have a strong issue with because I'm like, I don't know if he can really pull it off. I mean, even his performance as Emmett, as good as it is, I don't see that as Mario, and I don't
Yeah,
see
like
like his normal, usual slacker character persona working with Mario. But I don't know. Like I actually did a podcast. It hasn't gone up as of this recording, where I talked about celebrity voice acting in movies just to get something on that. And my general thing was just like, I mean, it might be good because if there's like, I'm not a fan of Illumination at all, but if there's one thing I could give them props for is that they normally can push actors to do pretty good voice performances because I'm like, regardless of what you feel about Despicable Me, Steve Carell as Gru is like, okay, he's doing a character voice. Benedict
yeah.
Cumberbatch as Grinch, it's a character voice. I didn't really
Mhm.
like it, but I was like, okay, well, I can't, this. I mean, at least he's trying. Even McConaughey as that little koala thing for sing. I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't just sound like Matthew McConaughey saying, all right, all right, all right. It
Yeah.
sounds like a character. So I'm like, okay, that gives me some hope. And also the fact that Nintendo's on it, because I'm like, I kind of feel like Nintendo is like, this movie has to be good because it's like we're putting our shit in your theme park. So if it's not good, we're gonna put that
Exactly.
shit out. So I'm like, I kind of feel like it has to be good, but we won't know until we see it.
Well,
Um,
so with yeah, thanks for mentioning that. With the release of those Super Mario lands as of like as of this year and so forth, yeah, that movie is gonna have to make a really good first impression as well, because we know for a fact with those little sections of a theme park going into Universal, that movie I feel is gonna be the starter
yeah,
to everything before it hits in the US. I'm pretty sure Florida's having a good time with it, so we're just LA's next to grab that theme park sometime next year. So hey, woohoo, that's gonna be fun. But
no,
all right. I know we went on a Nintendo tangent right there. Sorry
yeah.
about that, Bowser. But Bowser's gonna freaking capture us if we keep talking about it. But anyway.
But anyways, going back with Charlie Day, he's great as the spaceman Benny.
Yeah, he was great. Honest to gosh.
And we got Mario and Luigi in this movie.
It's it boggles my mind. Oh my god. I mean, Where's Waluigi? Waluigi time, man! Come on,
We're gonna go
man.
with the most random ass choice. We're gonna have Morgan Freeman as Waluigi.
Dude, that will be the greatest thing in a century. Having them pull Waluigi, voiced by Morgan Freeman, and like, damn, man, I would have 10 times more respect for Morgan that day. My God, that better be in his bucket list. I'm like, I would like to voice as the most underutilized character in Nintendo, Waluigi.
But yeah, I mean, the voice acting in this, I will say, is really good. I mean, just as an example of how celebrity voice acting can be done right, this is a perfect
Yeah.
example. I think everyone, in this just commits to it, like whether it's the characters that are clearly, being played by actors who are doing like weird voices, like the pirate and Unikitty, where it's clearly like, okay, these celebrities are changing up their voice, or if it's just normal voices like Chris Pratt doing his regular voice, or
Yeah.
Charlie Day, Elizabeth Banks. I know they all do pretty much their regular voice. Will Arnett as Batman. I mean, that's an all-timer performance. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Lego Batman, I really liked it, but I know some people didn't really find it too good.
It was pretty good. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, hell. What can I say about that? It was thanks to the Lego movie that his performance in that movie was so well received that he ended up getting a spin-off of his own.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily see why.
Yeah, you instantly fall in love with his character work as Batman, and it's like, come on, just all right. To anyone who's watching this podcast, I dare you to rewatch that again and just say and tell me that Will Arnett as Batman in that movie was not likable. Though, like, if you tell me that, then like, oh man, I think you're missing the point there. Because honestly,
it's like a perfect parody of pretty much what Batman is in the modern day, of like this dark and gritty superhero who's always alone.
Exactly.
Even though he's not alone, but he's got his old team. But the movies have pretty much always put him alone.
Yeah. Honestly.
So that stuff is really great. I mean, he even gets his own song, which I love that that the Oscars even had that song breakup part of the song that was actually nominated. So again, I feel like that whole thing was a big fuck you.
Yeah,
like a big subtle fuck you. But yeah, like the thing about the Batman thing, it's one of the things that I really liked about this movie is the fact that, okay, since it's Lego, we're actually gonna feature some of our commercial tie-ins that we've had over the years, like from the Simpsons Legos to of course the DC Legos, the Harry Potter Legos, all that stuff. Because it's like, look, that's become a big part of Lego in the modern day, so we kind of have to keep that in.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it wasn't even the only thing that they wanted to do. Apparently, aside from Batman, they actually had another character that they wanted to be a part of the group, but it didn't happen because of a specific deal that was going on, which is they did have a cameo. Originally, R2D2 was supposed to be a part of the main group, from what I remember reading in an article a while back.
But then the
Disney deal.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, like apparently, like the Disney deal had been happening when they were gone through the early stages of this, and the Star Wars people that had reached out to them had pretty much said like, okay, you gotta, whatever you're planning to do with our characters, you gotta figure it out real quick, because like in a week from now, you're gonna have to deal with someone else. So if you can finalize it now, you'll be able to do whatever you want, regardless of what Disney is gonna say next week. So the result was like, okay, we're gonna have a quick Star Wars cameo, even though originally the plan was that R2D2 was gonna be a part of the group because it was gonna be like further parodying these chosen one narratives. Like, okay, R2D2 sends the message out to Ahmed, and that's how pretty much the whole thing gets started. So, I mean, just imagine like in an alternate universe, they had a Lego movie where R2D2 and Batman were a part of the main group.
Ah, one can only dream regarding that, honestly.
We probably could
But
have had a Lego Star Wars movie.
yeah, you probably could. Dude, we could have. I mean, what was the thing? Star Wars, as a license itself, is one of the biggest like franchises on Lego.
Probably
It
the
spawned multiple
biggest.
games
Yeah,
over
I mean,
the
they're
freaking
still
years.
they've been delaying one game in specifically where it's like the complete trilogy for like 2 years now. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is pretty much the massive franchise that they have. So, I mean, that it got a reference at all is nice, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it still would have been nice to have seen it actually play a major part in this, especially
Like
given that
heck.
it's a shows of one story.
Yeah, true. Like heck, I wouldn't even mind if like, oh, I don't know, there was like maybe like for example, there was like some space scene in their own world, and then for some reason you see out from the distance between their planet Earth, there's like a freaking Death Star at least. At
Yeah,
least just show that off. I mean, that'd be nice to see, but oh well.
that probably would have
Well,
been the final plan instead of like, well, I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure the Craggle was always a thing, but they probably would have been like, okay, let's turn the Craggle into like this big Death Star. So it's like this Death Star that shoots out glue, crazy glue.
well, there you go. See? Now that okay, that one I'd understand. Holy crap.
That would have actually been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just would have made sense given everything else that happens in this movie, which it's honestly just fun how creative and smart they are. Like at times it really hammers in that this is a story being made up by a kid, which we learned by the end of the movie. And once it's revealed, it's like, yeah, it makes sense because you got characters whenever you're shooting stuff, they're going like pew pew pew, or they're describing stuff in the easiest way possible. Like at first you're thinking like, okay, it's just the characters being dumb, but then you realize like, oh no, it's a kid, so obviously it's going to be much more simplified than what you would normally expect out of this. And of course, it starts to make sense. Like, okay, the president business character is supposed to be a father, which I thought that was one of the great twists in the movie when you finally
Yeah.
get revealed. Like, oh yeah, Will Ferrell's in the live action world, and it's the father. Like I remember my theater actually reacted to that one pretty interestingly.
Wait a minute. I'm just thinking about that part. It's like, wait a minute. This is a freaking Star Wars reference in itself too. Because we don't know who that real villain is until like we get to the real one. Tell it's the father. It's like, oh god.
See,
Wow. So
they
it's
set
like
it in
the
Star
Matrix
Wars.
and Star Wars plot lines together. Okay. All right. I need to rewatch this movie again. Holy crap. That's the second biggest realization.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The amount of details that they have in this, like just from a story perspective, is just it's just amazing because one of the things that I noticed upon rewatching it is that the movie actually tells you right off the gate that yes, this is all a fictional world. Not because it's just Legos, playing around, but because when Emmett Fresh has that vision, a bunch of the clips that you see are stuff that he eventually sees in the real world. Like he sees the cat poster, he sees a man walking down the stairs,
Yeah.
he pretty much just a bunch of stuff. So it's like, okay, so even from the beginning, it's all fake,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's technically not because he comes to life, and there's a whole lot of existentialism going on there. I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah. Oh, there was like one little bit of like live action animation that I can actually say because I know so we know for a fact that the Lego movie was 100% like CGI, right?
Yeah.
But there was actually just like one bit of like just live action animation. It wasn't just the part where like the kid and the father were like just meeting up in the real world and all that, but it was I think it was like the part where like Emmett's looking at like dang it, what was the guy's name? It was his mentor. It was Emmett's Morpheus in a sense. Shoot.
Oh, Vitruvius.
Petruvius, there you go. When Petruvius shows up again, but he's being like suspended on a plastic stick. That was actually live action. They literally did that. That was an actual puppeteering motion there. I was like, oh my god. Like that was at least the one thing that I was like, oh man, they got that so right. Even though that was the most funniest thing I ever saw done with that Lego movie. It's just woo, and
I'm a
then go
ghost.
back. I'm a ghost. Ooh.
Oh god.
Oh man.
That this movie is just it's just insane how smart it is. And
Yeah.
I mean I get how the sequel and the spinoffs didn't quite live up to it in the same way, but it's still, no matter what, it's still gonna shock me that people just walked away from the franchise that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, dang, it was such a good thing too. Hell, I even bought a set or two from it
Yeah,
because that one was just memorable. Heck, I think I recall on the premiere of that movie, I literally had like a just like somewhat of a lanyard and whatnot, and I pinned it, and it was like the Emmett and Wild style, just like stuck right here when I went in there. It's like, damn, man, that movie meant a lot to us. So to see it like how it just like gone by so quickly. Oh gosh.
yeah, like you
Nah,
had
man.
a pretty good game come out of it with the Lego Dimensions.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
there was, of course, I mean, I've never been there, but I know that they have like their Lego theme park, and they even did a ride based on it. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Franchises die out over the years, but that this one did so quickly when you got other movies that started from like more mediocre um movies
Yeah.
that are still going pretty strong to this day. It's just I don't know. I just really don't get it.
Oh well. We got. I guess it'll come back in some form. I would say because Lego, right? Lego at this moment in time is eternal. Honestly, it is
Yeah,
never gonna go away because it is part of the childhood zeitgeist. So there's no way like they're not gonna go and revisit this kind of thing in the future. I mean, I tell you what, man. If it weren't for that movie, dude, that Warner Animation Group would not have had a good start. And it was thanks to that movie that they really succeeded. So to have them revisit that sometime down the line, that'd be great. Because honestly, we could use more. We could use more like creative movies just like that.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
hell, I don't know if they would ever. Because like, here's the thing. Because if they ever decided to do a crossover between like two of the toy world's biggest creative like franchises, which is Lego and then its competitor Mega Bloks for some reason.
Lego v
I mean,
Mega Blocks.
I don't know, Lego v Mega Bloks, freaking
Emmett finds
connects.
out
I
that
don't
his
know.
mother is named Martha or something.
Like I don't know. Like they should make this movie not just Lego, but an ode to all the creator toys that have come over the years. Especially, I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I wasn't even like anywhere near the time when the Erector set was like born. So like that was just the hell. So I would like to see a movie where they like pay homage to like I mean, yeah, we got Toy Story, but there's not a lot of like toys there that I got paid homage to mostly. But yeah, there's still great ones.
Yeah,
Um of well, I would just like to see that movie. A movie that's just based on the creative toys of our time, especially.
I mean, I know that they're granted. I think this is Sony currently doing a Barbie movie, but then again, they've been talking about doing Barbie for who knows how long. But apparently, this is the closest one that they've had yet. Um, I'm not even sure which one this one is supposed to be because I know I've heard like different pitches for Barbie movies over the years. Like I've heard one where it was like, okay, it's an island of Barbies, and they reject one for not looking like the usual Barbie. I think there's one where it was like playing it more straight to just being here's a girl, she's named Barbie. So I don't even know what they're doing now. I know that apparently they have the director of Little Women, Greta Gerwig, doing it,
Oh
but
wow, okay.
I don't I really don't know. So that'd be interesting to see, especially considering that that is one of the more iconic toys. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were to do it, I would just make it about Barbie literally having all the jobs that she's ever had, and just be like, "Hey, look, Barbie is the Earth's greatest human, but is she a positive female role model? Considering you got that whole contingent of people who are like, oh, Barbies are bad now." So I'm like, Look, she's been president, an astronaut, a teacher, but is she a good female role model? I don't know.
Man, she's the most hardworking woman in the toy franchise. So she has worked every job known to man, and if you actually saw her resume, nah, man, she's
She's even a
overqualified for
movie star.
anything.
Toy Story, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, wait. Okay, so wait a minute. There is that little caveat. Sony is doing this, right? The Barbie movie. Honestly.
Yeah. Apparently Sony's the one doing it, but honestly, I've lost track since they've been doing so many different versions over the years that have never happened. So I don't know. This one sounds like it might happen just because it's got like a big director on it, but you know, things happen.
Oh well, no worries. They'll get work on it over time. I mean, if it hits the theaters, that'll be great for them. But for something like that, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure as to how they can actually pin the story properly for Barbie, because Barbie's just Miss Perfect, dude. She is Miss Perfect in every way. It's just like now, like, my God, I don't even know if they're a thing anymore. Brat dolls are not even a thing anymore. So
I mean, you can still find them, but yeah, they're pretty much. I mean, they're
yeah,
there.
they've
It's
they've
kind of
hit
like
the
what do they call those? The Beanie Babies is like they were a big thing when they came out, and then nowadays you can still find them, but
yeah.
they're there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's surprising how some toys actually came back now. I mean, thanks to He-Man on Netflix, it's been blowing up as of late.
Oh yeah,
Which I watch. It's okay. I liked it for what it was. It was
I
pretty
never
cool
saw it.
for.
I
Yeah,
know that
it's okay.
I know
That's
people were
all.
mad about it because they killed off He-Man within like the first episode or something like that, and
I
I was like,
mean, yeah, I know. It was very dark.
but I'm
I
like,
know. There's just like there's
I
a,
know he
they
comes back
literally pulled a
eventually.
they literally pulled an invincible on you. They literally pulled an invincible on you the minute like you start the show. I was like, what the hell? You just killed off the main character. Now we gotta focus on this side character to become the hero and all of a sudden it's like, ah. It's like, yeah, I know. It may hurt for a lot of people who were born within that time that were watching He-Man, but it only hurts for a little bit because the show makes it back proper.
Yeah,
And it's actually pretty fun just seeing He-Man and Skeletor work together just for a bit so they can fight each other one last time. That's the funny thing.
they're like an
Dude,
elderly couple.
yeah, seriously, it's like, hey, we'll work together to stop this. Or like, okay, now that we stop it, you're dead. You're dead, He-Man.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, it
Speaking
is
of
pretty sick
toys,
though. I love their fight. I love the animation that they did with their fight scenes. All that, that's just astoundingly awesome. I definitely would recommend watching the Netflix He-Man. Not the 3D one though. That's just a reboot of something completely different.
yeah,
Reva
that's
like
weird.
yeah, Masters of the Universe Revelations. That's the actual continuation of the original like He-Man stuff, which is like okay, this is hella dope. I could definitely rock with this. So I would recommend if you ever get the chance, Octaviano, or to any viewer of the podcast, please go ahead, give it a watch. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, damn! I can't get that out of my mind though, because Mark Hamill is the guy that plays as Skeletor, but I
Yeah.
can't. Every time he's talking, all I see or what I see is just a really buffed up Joker. That's all I'm seeing. A Grim Reaper Joker is like voicing this. It's like, oh my god, get out of my head! If he starts pulling out a crowbar and beating the shit out of He-Man, I'll be so freaking like I'd be laughing way too hard at that point.
No, he's gonna beat up Orko.
Exactly. See, Jesus Christ. Oh gosh. Oh man.
So
If Mark Hamill, if you're seeing this, I love your voice acting. Okay,
yeah,
it's just so freaking hilarious.
Mark Hamill's
Oh,
great, honestly.
yeah. So hell, damn. So wow, we went through one hell of a tangent there, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what is there to talk about the Lego movie. I mean, there's a lot, of course, but
I mean,
I
for
feel
one
like
thing's
we've
for
covered a lot of it already.
yeah, we covered a lot of what we needed to say regarding the Lego movie. The Lego movie video game had like become a pretty good success. It did get awards all over the area, including like a BAFTA award for Best Animated Feature. So like, hell, that's hella dope. I mean, if I could see from my notes, it won a total of 1, 2, 3, like around 15 awards in total.
Not enough.
So it's like not enough. Not enough. It needs to get the bigger ones. I mean, those are like just locally put or from some other like part of the country. I can understand them. I have no disrespect to them. They all have their own amount of prestige, and I hope to one day be in one of those too. So, but anyway, regarding that situation, yeah, I could definitely say that the Lego Movie is a pillar. It's definitely a pillar of like American animation in general because, or in animation in general because shoot, it did so much to just capture the joy and the creativity of what that toy currently is.
Right.
So, and especially, I mean, to all fans, kids, to adults alike, AFOLs at this point. I guess that's the abbreviation for any one of us. Um, like that that movie in general is like just man, I don't even know how to explain that properly. It's just so near and dear to anyone who's been fond of this toy ever since like they were growing up. So
Yeah,
definitely would.
it's definitely one that just it's like the perfect storm of just quality from the acting, the writing, the animation, the way it went about using its material, the way it honored said material. It's, I mean, like I said, it honestly, I would say it's probably the best movie of like the best animated movie of the last decade. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones. Ones that, of course, haven't been seen by a lot of people, or ones that have been seen by a lot of people. Um, but in terms of just hitting all the things just right, I would say that one definitely does it perfectly. And to this day, it's just crazy how no one else has managed to succeed with something like that. Like whether it's trying to do a direct rip off of like the Playmobil movie, or going about it with a similar thing. Like I know people mention like okay stuff like Ready Player One, the recent Space Jam, all tried going on the same thing with like okay here's a bunch of franchises together. And while both of those movies I think are okay, they're not great, but they're not really all that bad. Like some people say, I do think, yeah, in terms of the way it's utilized, is nowhere near as perfect as this movie. And I don't know if you can ever see someone else doing it as perfectly as this movie, where they just grab this nothing source material, look at it from how it relates to people, how it's related to like the zeitgeist, and then just add in a bunch of the pop culture stuff that it became known for, and do it with a very touching story that just hits all the right marks, like I've said.
And yeah, I'm starting to like looking back at all of the animated effects, especially the special effects, because all those special effects were Legolized too. There was no liquid. Everything, even though it was all CGI, was meticulously put in a Lego like Lego products in general. Even the fire, I mean, all like the fire itself from the vehicles as it's going out is literally just the plastic fire thing you see in the sets, and then just flashing a bit of like LED light to go with it. I mean,
Yeah.
they made everything to a degree that this was just the love letter for Lego in general. I can agree. I can definitely 100% agree that there is no way that any other like studio can properly like bring up a franchise, a legacy like Lego, and do it into an amazing tribute of a movie like it. There'll be so many other copies, but they will never compare to what Lego has done over the years. So then that I conclude my reasoning regarding that. Lego movie for life, man.
So with that, I don't know. I don't think I got any more I can really say about this. Do you?
I mean, other than like the way it's like sold out a lot in like in I could talk about like marketing figures here and there, but you know what? It's not that bad. We already know that this
That would
movie
become
has
a
grown so
juggernaut.
much. It became a juggernaut in DVD sales and like movie sales, everything that you could ever see upon from the get go. This thing was blowing up all over the place.
Yeah.
This was this was an Avengers level threat.
Yeah, I
So
remember when it came out, I was even joking that it's kind of like the best cinematic universe since the Marvel cinematic universe.
yeah,
Um, and that, if they ever made sequels, and of course they did, and the spin-offs, it didn't really need to rely on the same story, which for the
yeah.
most part they didn't. Of course, none of them ever really reached the heights of this one. But I mean, I would say in terms of cinematic universes, it's still got to be one of the better ones, just because it has a hell of a start going for it. So there's that.
Yeah, it did. It did have quite a hell of a start doing that. So, I mean, even though like we don't see Lego movies related nowadays, because well, when was the last Lego related movie was like released? Was that
Lego
20?
Movie 2, which is 2019.
Okay, so
So
it
it's
was
not too
released about
long, but it feels
not too long,
longer.
but yeah, it feels pretty damn long. So maybe they might come back. Who knows? It's just that it's just only a matter of time. Hell, I don't know. Maybe reintroduce Bionicle again.
I mean, I know that the plan that they had before before they
Man.
uh, canned it, because of course Warner Bros. Just gave off the rights to make movies to Universal.
Yeah.
Um, One of the movies that they had planned was something called the I think it was like the Million Brick Race or something like that. But pretty much it was going to be like a whole racing movie, and you can actually find just very few pieces of concept art. I know Jorge Gutierrez, who made the Book of Life, and recently Maya and the Three, great animator, actually posted like, oh yeah, he had some involvement with it, because you see like the Lego figures that he designed, and one of them was like, yeah, that definitely looks like something that you would see in the Book of Life. And it was going to be like just a whole big racing movie with that. And I'm like, honestly, that sounds like it could have been pretty fun. I've always wanted to see just like a big wacky race movie um, from Warner Bros. Since they have like the wacky races and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that sucks that never happened. But then again, maybe if Universal actually does anything with it, maybe they bring it back. I mean, I kind of hope so.
Make it wacky races, but put in the comedic hijinks of Rat Race from 2001.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Now that would be
Yeah,
all
John
right.
Lovitz in the Hitler mobile.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, and then Rowan Atkinson as the narcoleptic once again.
It's a race. It's a race. It's a race.
It's a race. It's a race. It's a race. And then he opens the lockers. Just...
Oh gosh.
Oh man. See, I wouldn't mind that. A wacky race, rat race, like Lego movie like that. Okay. Sign me up. I wouldn't mind it. Hell,
Yeah.
that would bring in a whole new level of sets for the creator franchise, and they could just make more vehicles regarding that. That'd be dope. Hell, dude. Oh, here's an actual fun detail regarding the Lego movie. The
Oh,
Lego
yeah.
movie was one of the first things to actually have a contest for users to or Lego creators to actually like build up their vehicle of choice and then
Right.
like and have it submitted through like Facebook and whatnot. I know this because I had participated in this. I remember because long time ago, like they were like the directors were like putting out this whole like PSA, like, hey, we're looking for creators to, or we're looking for the best vehicle ever made by simply turning this thing into a vehicle. Like we had to make a simple non-flying like inanimate object and turn it into some vehicle, right? My own was a little too much of everything because it was just a potato and it was literally just a potato, but it looked like a helicopter and it had like a boat kind of like thing on the bottom. And then if you ever brought it to land, it had like wheels on it. And I called it the Omnipotato. And so when I submitted that didn't go through because that one was too simplified. I'm like, okay. At first time I heard that, I was like, that was BS. And then like now it's like, okay, that's understandable. Yeah, I can't make a potato out of everything. And when I made it, it looked like a fingernail.
It would have been funny
But
if it had like the fries as like bullets shooting out of it. The wheels like
the
I'm
fries,
not
no,
not
the
sure.
wheels is hash browns.
Hash browns, yeah,
The
yeah.
the tater tots, the tater tots, and then the propeller is made out of French fries. Dude, that would have been so good. But I don't know who was the one that won it. But all I know is that was for marketing. Yeah, it was one of the first ever movies to actually have like someone's creation be put in there. At first, I thought it was the freaking double decker sofa Emmett keeps freaking talking about, but no, it's something completely different. I didn't know what it was. I thought that was the thing that made it as a vehicle. I was like, damn, man, I wish I could do that. Damn, that's the laziest creation ever. A double decker sofa. I'm like, you kidding me? Oh man. Oh, but they did improve on that in the Lego movie too. That looked so badass as a little robot. Holy crap, the set looked dope. Ugh. But other than that, yeah, besides it's like marketing stance regarding that, it did help a lot, honestly. I mean, hell, so many like sets were inspired by that, and then everyone had their own little like animation to continue the lore for it. Honestly, that's just the fandom at this point. But um, yeah, to this day, it's still still considered as one of the most regarded movies of its time and of part of the community itself. Because I think that's like a good, easy way to start for anyone at any age to like be inspired to create something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, all it takes is just a little brick and a little other brick, and just make that connection right there. Jeez. So, and then the
Really
rest is
shitty
history.
bricks.
But other than that, yeah, I think that's all I can say about this movie. Other than that, it was a phenomenal success. It will stay within the minds of the past, the present, and future to come for Lego in general. And if it ever comes out with another movie or like a third one in down the line, who knows, man? They could like really bring back the whole idea of like brick films and whatnot. And to be honest, we could use a lot more of that on YouTube. I think I've seen way too many streamers lately. I think I've seen way too much streamers, and like I need someone to like take down the algorithm so I can actually watch some Lego animations again. Oh.
All right. Well, if that's the case. With that being the case, yeah, I think I'm gonna just close it off. But yeah, this was a great animated movie. Like I said multiple times already, probably the best one of the last decade. But yeah, I don't know if you got anything to promote.
At this moment, no, but I could tell you for sure by the start of next year, things will be really shifting for 3 Fight and the animations that are to come. So that's for sure. Be on the lookout because I will be starting to put updates in as of maybe tonight or tomorrow, somewhere in the afternoon. I might have a little bit of something to show. I
All
just
right.
might, but who knows what happens? I mean, it is going to be the last day of 2021 tomorrow. And so who knows? Who knows? But until then, I guess this is it for now.
All
This
right.
is Arnell from 3Fi. Boom.
And this has been Octaviano Macias, host of I Can't Believe It's Not the Mouse. If you enjoyed this, of course, support me on my YouTube channel. That's I Can Films. I also have a Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/psycams. That's Arnell. Of course, support him with his channel. He's on 3Fi. I'll put up the link down below so it's easier to get to it, but he's definitely got it.
Yeah, and if you're ever a big fan of Lego animations or even regular animations in general, I still do some of them at this time. Currently, I'm just working on a really big project of mine that's been somewhat in like hiatus back and forth for about a year. So now that I have a good amount of time to do it, I will get those out. I will definitely have something to show for, and I have a lot of new projects down the line. I have a big plan ready for 2022, so be on the lookout. My channel is just literally just search it up on on the search bar there on YouTube, it's going to be just the number 3 FI, and it'll be the first thing that shows up. Literally, it's just a Lego piece and a pencil. That would be me. So if you're ever interested in the animations that I do, go ahead, give those a watch. I've been with YouTube since 2009, so please feel free to keep in touch, and hopefully you enjoy your time here.
Thank you all for listening.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Hey, just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, comment below if you had any thoughts on this, and if you want to support me even more, there's always the option of Patreon. Yes, I have a Patreon. Patreon would be a great way to help me grow this channel, as it's a great way to get equipment, a great way to let me know what you guys like, and it's a great way to help me financially. Just saying, the more I have on Patreon, the more time I'll have for these videos. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.